Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story this hour. After a 7,000-kilometre intercontinental flight, the first batch of Rafale fighter jets from France have landed in India. On your screens are the visuals of the landing of the Rafale jets at the Ambala Air Base. This is the first batch of the state-of-the-art fighter planes which India acquired from France. The 5 Rafales were escorted by 2 of India's Sukhoi Su-30 MKIs. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh took to Twitter to inform about the landing. He said that the touchdown of the Rafale combat jets marks the beginning of a new era in India's military history. Rajnath Singh said that Rafale will revolutionize the capabilities of the Indian Air Force. The jets were flown by pilots of the Indian Air Force who have been trained by Dassault Aviation in France. Indian Air Force Chief RKS Bhadauria was present at the airbase to receive the Rafale jets. He greeted the pilots who flew in the jets for the 7,000-kilometre long journey. The single-hop journey from France to India saw the 5 jets making an overnight stop at the Al Dhafra base near Abu Dhabi. Indian Air Force took to Twitter on Tuesday to showcase their new acquisition. Multiple pictures of the jets refueling mid-air were released by the IAF. The jets were refueled by 2 French Air Force tankers that accompanied the Rafales. WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us live for more on this. Good evening to you, Siddhant. The first 5 Rafale jets have landed in India. This is the biggest upgrade to the IAF in over 2 decades.
Well, yes, Alison, it's an important development when it comes to India's defense, India's Air Force and India's security architecture. 7,000 kilometers later, this is an important development. We have seen wall-to-wall coverage being given here in India. There are 2 aspects to it. One is, of course, the diplomatic aspect. Another is the military aspect. When it comes to diplomatic aspect, we know that this is a symbol of India-France cooperation. In fact, the French envoy spoke to WION yesterday and talked us about the aircraft, saying that it's this is an outstanding fighter jet, and also talked about how this is a symbol of cooperation. But by and large, we have seen how India and France have come together in past few days, months, and of course, yes, in fact, yesterday the French government sent India COVID aid in response to the Indians sending the COVID aid to France when it was being impacted. But talking about the military aspect, this comes amidst the growing aggression by the Chinese. In fact, the tweets made by India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh sends a message across to China that the countries who consider this development as a matter of concern are those countries who perhaps would threaten India's territorial and sovereignty. But by and large, if you look at the situation in the region, it is a precarious situation, and how India is hoping that through these development, through upgradation, through modernization and through acquisition, it's just not with France, with US, with Israel, with Russia. India has been acquiring and of course giving orders to make sure that the Indian forces and the Indian defense forces, whether it's Air Force, whether it's Navy, remain up to date. In fact, one of the most important developments of the day is the fact when Rafale entered the Indian Ocean, it had a conversation with India's ship, Indian naval ship, and of course we know that this is a message of how the Navy and the Air Force are on the same page.
Siddhant, thank you very much for that update, for all the latest there on Rafale.